Top 10 Least Predictable Movies of All Time. Welcome back to the channel. Today we're counting down the list of our favorite picks for the top 10 least predictable movies of all time. For this list, we'll be looking at movies that keep the audience guessing until the very last minute, with endings that are as satisfying as they are shocking. What's a movie you found impossible to guess the outcome of? Let us know in the comments below. Number 10. Psycho, 1960. A Phoenix secretary embezzles $40,000 from her employer's client, goes on the run and checks into a remote motel run by a young man under the domination of his mother. When Psycho was released in 1960, director Alfred Hitchcock insisted that no viewers be allowed to enter after a screening had started. This might sound unnecessarily rigid, but if you've seen Psycho, you can understand his decision. A major shock in the first half of the movie completely alters the viewer's expectations and changes the course of the film forever. But even after this twist, Psycho doesn't let up the intrigue or the tension. We wish we could have been in the audience when the movie was first released, not knowing just what this shower scene had in store for us. Number 9. Old Boy, 2003. Old Boy is a 2003 South Korean neo-noir action thriller film co-written and directed by Park Chan-wook. It is based on the Japanese manga of the same name written by Garen Toshiya and illustrated by Nobuaki Minegishi. Old Boy is the second installment of the Vengeance trilogy, preceded by Sympathy for Mr. Vengeance and followed by Lady Vengeance. If you think you know exactly where Old Boy is going, you've got another thing coming. This South Korean thriller from Park Chan-wook follows Oh Dae-soo, played by Choi Min-sik, who is released after 15 years in captivity and works to track down the man who imprisoned him during this time. His quest is complicated by a romantic relationship, and that's all we'll say about the plot. Old Boy is rightfully acclaimed for its expert direction, especially with its fight scene, shot in one unbroken take. But it's the commitment to the unpredictable that makes it truly special. Number 8. Arrival, 2016. Linguistics professor Louis Banks leads an elite team of investigators when gigantic spaceships touch down in 12 locations around the world. As nations tether on the verge of global war, Banks and her crew must race against time to find a way to communicate with the extraterrestrial visitors. Hoping to unravel the mystery, she takes a chance that could threaten her life and quite possibly all of mankind. Arrival is an alien invasion movie that's light on lasers and explosions, but that's not its only surprise. Acclaimed director Denis Villeneuve tells a close encounter story that feels heavy on science and light on fiction, with plenty of heart to go around. As Louis Banks, a linguist mourning the loss of her young daughter, Amy Adams anchors the emotional core of this movie, and the audience is always along for the ride, as she and her team work to decipher the language of their extraterrestrial acquaintances. Arrival builds to a resolution that's a triumph of storytelling ingenuity. Number 7. Get Out, 2017. Now that Chris and his girlfriend Rose have reached the meet the parents milestone of dating, she invites him for a weekend getaway with Missy and Dean. At first, Chris reads the family's overly accommodating behavior as nervous attempts to deal with their daughter's interracial relationship, but as the weekend progresses, a series of increasingly disturbing discoveries leads him to a truth that he could never have imagined. The first surprise with Get Out was that Jordan Peele, best known for his comedic work on Key and Peele, was directing a horror film. The next surprise was how perfectly suited he was for the genre, which thrives in suspense and unexpected revelations. Get Out, the story of a black man played by Daniel Kaluuya in an Oscar-nominated performance, who discovers a horrible plot at his white girlfriend's family home, is constantly playing with the viewer, leaving hints in plain sight that makes rewatches even more rewarding. Peele won a well-deserved Best Original Screenplay Oscar for this film, proving that there should always be a place for new ideas in Hollywood. Number 6. Gone Girl, 2014. Dark, intelligent, and stylish to a fault, Gone Girl plays to director David Fincher's sick strengths while bringing the best out of stars Ben Affleck and Rosamund Pike. In Carthage M.O., former New York-based writer Nick Dune, Ben Affleck, and his glamorous wife Amy Rosamund Pike present a portrait of a blissful marriage to the public. However, when Amy goes missing on the couple's 5th wedding anniversary, Nick becomes the prime suspect in her disappearance. The resulting police pressure and media frenzy causes the Dunes' image of a happy union to crumble, leading to tantalizing questions about who Nick and Amy truly are. It's hard to even describe David Fincher's adaptation of writer Gillian Flynn's best-selling novel without giving its secrets away. We'll just say that the movie is about the disappearance of Amy Dune, played by an Oscar-nominated Rosamund Pike, and the investigation towards her husband Nick, played by Ben Affleck. Adapting her own novel, Flynn does a great job of bringing her soapy story into a cinematic context, and it's no surprise that the director, as skilled as David Fincher, pulled off the thriller elements so well. Gone Girl was a movie that had everyone talking when it came out, but also doing their best to keep quiet about it. Number 5. Seven, 1995. A brutal, relentlessly grimy shocker with taut performances, slick gore effects, and a haunting finale. When retiring police detective William Somerset, Morgan Freeman tackles a final case with the aid of newly transferred David Mills, Brad Pitt. They discover a number of elaborate and grisly murders. They soon realize they are dealing with a serial killer, Kevin Spacey, who is targeting people he thinks represents one of the 7 deadly sins. Somerset also befriends Mills' wife, Tracy, Gwyneth Paltrow, who is pregnant and afraid to raise her child in a crime-riddled city. Another David Fincher thriller, Seven, released nearly 20 years ago, before Gone Girl, is so masterfully created. It's hard to believe this was only his second film. Morgan Freeman plays a veteran detective investigating brutal slayings from someone who targets victims by using the 7 deadly sins. His partner is Brad Pitt's cockier young detective, and Fincher makes their relationship and individual journeys as important as uncovering who the villain is. Seven is great because it respects the viewer's intelligence and makes every new turn feel earned. Fincher uses these traits to great effect with another mystery, 2007's Zodiac. Number 4. The Prestige, 2006. The Prestige, Christopher Nolan's period drama about a deadly rivalry between two magicians played by Christian Bale and Hugh Jackman, functions like a great magic trick itself, with plenty of misdirection and a stunning revelation that may have you saying "wow" out loud, even in subsequent viewings. The first line of the film is a question to the audience, and the more attentive you are to the film, the more impressed you can be by its tricks. For a prestige thriller that thrives off of surprises, it's hard to do better than The Prestige. Number 3. Parasite, 2019. The first non-English language film to win Best Picture at the Academy Awards, the dark comedy thriller Parasite quickly became a must-see for viewers who love suspense and payoff in their movies. In this South Korea-set film, a struggling family cons their way into working for an upper-class family without revealing their relations to one another. Over time, their deception becomes harder to manage, and they have to go to extreme lengths to keep their secret and their jobs. Director Bong Joon-ho gives every moment into film tension, and when the other shoe drops, so do our jaws. Number 2. Fight Club, 1999. If it's from David Fincher, you almost know it's going to be good, and that goes double if he's working with Brad Pitt. Adapting Chuck Palahniuk's novel about a white-collar worker who joins a violence ring, Fight Club starts with a deceptively basic premise that proves to be not so simple over time. As the nameless narrator, Edward Norton gives one of his best performances, and Brad Pitt's Tyler Durden is one of the A-listers' most charismatic and most unsettling creations. Fight Club might seem it's about physical combat, but it's sure to give your brain a workout too. And topping our list at number 1, Memento, 2000. It's hard to tell where a story is going and when it's going to be told backwards. In Christopher Nolan's breakthrough film, Guy Pearce plays Leonard, a detective investigating a murder, but the murder he's investigating is his wife's, and he has short-term memory loss. Leonard has to rely on tattoos and Polaroids for clues to find out who the murderer is. Nolan, adapting a short story by his brother Jonathan, presents the information in both chronological and reverse chronological order, keeping viewers on their toes and stunned by how satisfyingly it all ties up. Memento is the perfect example of a movie that keeps you guessing. With that, we have come to the end of today's video. Don't forget to join in next time for more such interesting content.